There we go. Hello, good evening, and welcome to an episode 31 of the British Hive Mind. The episode 31, we've had some on a Monday. We had some great action, some great demonstration over the weekend. Met a lot of new people, talked about some great subjects, great things, and great plans for the future. But the main reason we went there was to pay our respects for the victims of the Manchester bombing. Heart goes out to all of those victims and everyone that was affected by such a terrible atrocity. We were also there to show our support for the lady whose son was brutally, tragically murdered in a terrorist incident that the government has now covered up, completely and utterly covered it up, from the CPS not even paying attention to the crash report, to the courts literally not even caring that this was an act of terror. I brought you a couple of live broadcasts from what was it, Castlefield Ball. Great little arena, great little place, great by the water, really nice location actually. I'd like to get there more often. So, I hope to have some more people come on board, more people join us, and have a bit more of a conversation about this. You know, I don't feel like doing a one person, one man report upon it, but if I have to, I have to. The show goes out every weekday at 8 o'clock. I'm here and I'm doing it. That's what we've got to do. So, the weekend's action, the weekend's demonstrations. Where to begin? We could quite clearly see it was a lovely day, lovely weather, and there was no ill feelings towards anybody when we were there. We met up in the moon under the water. Great atmosphere, people chatting, people talking, having a few coffees, having maybe a few drinks, chatting, talking, getting to know one another. Great atmosphere, even though we were surrounded by police. Police flying up and down the road, high-vis jackets. They were dressed up, baking heat, really it was. The sun was beating down on us. And the police were dressed in full high-vis jackets, hats, everything. And they looked like they were rather uncomfortable in the weather and looked rather uncomfortable in their position as well. Because as I was walking past with my signs, some of them even, tilted the hats, saw the common law sign, smiled and agreed with it. And others were looking at me with disdain, to be honest with you. Looking at me, looking down upon me, going, like they were saying in their heads, "Oh, what a far-right Nazi he is." Meh. You could see that a lot of the police's opinions were askew by narrative, by orders, by how they were treating us like football hooligans, even though we were calm, peaceful, peace-loving patriots out to show our respects and to keep the memories of these incidents alive, to make sure that we hold our government to account, we hold our police service to account, we hold our MI5 and MI6 to account for their failures of protecting our children. And you send me a link on Discord. Bit difficult now. Yeah, go on. So just take a quick break. I'll see if I can get this link sent over. I don't know how to actually send it to you properly. Are you on any other service, Tom? Well, it'll take like 8 seconds for the question to come through, really, won't it? How can I send it to you? Because I don't think Ivan's your friend, and Dave Wolf's banned again. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really want to be giving out details here. I can't put comments in myself. I suppose I could, if you're on YouTube and you have a channel on YouTube, I could type it into the YouTube comments, the link, and then you'd have to physically type it in that way from there. Could do it that way. But let's get the link. Let's get the link up ready. Anyway. Sorry about this, people. We need to get more people involved. This is the Hive Mind, where we all come together and we all share our views and we all share our opinions. So I'm going to make it a bit more open. It's just sometimes when there's too many people on the server, it gets too confusing. Everybody goes off on their own little tangents and we don't really stick to a point. And it gets a bit more like an Irish Parliament, as they say, where everybody's and everybody wants to join in and everybody wants to speak. So let's just share link. I think I could do it through there or there or there. Copy it to clipboard on here. Right. What's Tom say? You're on Messenger. Right, let's see if I can copy it to Messenger. Oh, no, wrong person, wrong one, wrong phone. Search. No, I can't. No, I can't even see one. Can't see one here. Listen, this is my private account as well, so I don't really want to be doing it through there. Right. So, Tom, were you at the event? Were you at the demonstration? So, yeah, it's not going to work like this. I can't ask you questions, wait 8 seconds, and then see you're supposed to reply there. Because many things happened. It was a great day. Many connections were made. Many things were spoke about. Many great minds came together. And, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Plus a £600 wedding cake. Well, I wonder how much a slice of that wedding cake would cost. Right. So I'm going to put the link. Wait, can I put? Wait. I'm going to put the link up here if I can. Yes, there we go. Right, you're going to have to give me a second, mate. Peeps. Right, there we go. That should be a link for the Hive Mind server. Right, let's put the thing back up here. Let's hope Tom can get involved. I've got to stick it back to the screen. Right. Yeah, a bit confusing. Then back onto the show. Back onto the show. Yeah. So let's start at the start. I made it into Manchester a little bit later than I'd planned because of the train situation, but it's all right. And I wanted to go there early so we could get into the pub early. I had some cardboard. Well, I had the manager of the pub save us some cardboard so we could make our own signs, make our own posters, and really, speak to people without speaking to people. I was walking down the street with my big signs above my head or on my chest, letting people see that the Constitution is the solution. We had a little walk around the area, but a lot of people there were stopped from walking around, stopped from talking to people, stopped from, I wouldn't say confronting the left that were there, but they weren't going to confront them. They were going to question them, talk to them, try to debate with them. But you see this silence, this police silencing the debate. The police are intervening and stopping the debate, stifling debate, because the left need protecting. Well, that link, Tom, that link's not going to be there available for tomorrow. So I'll send you another link in a private message a bit later on. And the Facebook feed's frozen. But now we're back on there. And, he says you went to the march and it was a setup. How do you mean? What do you mean by it was a setup? Set up by the police. They kept us cordoned off into our own little area. They didn't let us march anywhere. They wanted to shepherd us from one place to another to make sure we couldn't get out and speak to people and promote what we were actually doing there. They wanted to force the narrative. They wanted to make sure that if there was any interaction with anybody, it was a bad reaction to other people and to people getting involved. They only wanted to push us into a corner so we might react. I'll get onto that into a bit later on, because the way the police handled the Hope Not Hate group and their counter protest was absolutely disgusting. Absolutely blooming disgusting it was to let them interrupt our speakers on stage. Now, I spoke to one of the speakers afterwards, and it was his speech that was interrupted. So I have his speech here, and I'm going to read it out for everybody, because I didn't manage to get the recording of it, because I went over to have a look at the Antifa freaks and see what they were all up to, and to try to encourage our people to come back away from that line and get back to where we wanted to be and doing what we want, and just ignore those social reprobates. Yeah. The helicopter. Yeah, the helicopter flying around, buzzing around all day. Waste. What an utter waste of money. That wasn't needed. It wasn't necessary. We were peaceful. There was, 400 or 500 of us maximum? Well, there could have been more. They were just dotted about here, there, and everywhere. But at the main area, yeah, a good few hundred, but none of us were being aggressive. All of us were being extremely respectful to the police. We were being civilized people in a bit of civil disobedience. That was it. And why, if you had two opposing arguments and two opposing demonstrations, why would you want the two to meet? Why? I can't see one reason. Well, I can see one reason, and that's for confrontation. The police wanted confrontation. Maybe not the police on the street that would have had to clean up the mess, but the police super chief. What's his freaking name? What's his name? I've got the piece of paper that they gave us. They gave us all a piece of paper as well to try to explain themselves. Police Superintendent Chris Hill. There we go. Nice name drop there. He was the one who issued this piece of paper. He was the one who was supposedly the police superintendent, fucking self-aggrandized twonk, who must have ordered. He must have put down the orders to have the Antifa freaks and Hope Not Hate, Soros-funded scumbags, idiots, brainwashed lefties that don't have a clue what they're protesting about, don't have a clue that we are patriots and we are trying to protect our country, our rights, well, everybody's rights, because everybody lives in this country. Oh. And to march them down to where they did and to have them at odds with each other and to have them interrupt. We were having a nice peaceful demonstration with speakers and music and a sort of a fun festival sort of environment. In fact, that sort of atmosphere was there. You could feel it. And then to have them rain on our parade by shifting down the lefties to come and interrupt us. Do you think if the lefties were having a protest and we marched up to there, they'd keep us most definitely separated? They wouldn't want us confronting each other. The police on the street wouldn't, but the police in the hierarchy, you can tell that they've been common purposed, and you can tell that their orders were to try to incite a confrontation, which we're seeing all too often with our demonstrations. Every single time we have a demonstration, especially here in Manchester, I've noticed it here in Manchester because they're the only ones I've been to, but they goad us, they poke at us, they want us to react, they want fireworks when we don't. We just want to have our demonstration, get our point across, inform the people, let them know, and show that we stand in solidarity together. Whereas they want us all divided. They want to bring down these divisive people, these identity politics following muppets that want nothing more than to call us all racists and Nazis. You know, if they had a decent argument, I might forgive them, but they don't. You see it in some of the other videos. I can't remember who posted it, but you see it from some of the other videos. They went actually, I think it might have been in Piccadilly Gardens. They went over and they sat with them and they chatted with them civilly, and they had no substantial argument. They had no proof, evidence, or facts to back up these disgusting opinions they have of their fellow human beings. You see what members? So I'm just reading Thomas White's comment. Good comment. You know, I think what he's trying to put across is they want the Antifas and the Hope Not Hate to be able to approach us, to be able to take pictures of us, to be able to dox us, and to be able to grass us in to our employers, because that's a very prominent tool of the left, of these Antifa freaks, of these hate-mongering sociopaths that they've got a very polarized opinion. I'm being very polarized with this as well, but I was there. I saw them waving Palestinian flags, for crying out loud. Waving freaking Hamas. It might as well be a Hamas flag, Hamas terrorist flag. Saying, "Oh, hope, not hate." Really? Have you seen how much hate spews out of Palestine? Cripes. Yeah, well said, Ewabs. It's intimidation, trying to intimidate us, trying to push this false narrative that the left have numbers on their side. They don't have numbers on their side. They've just got a lot of idle people with nothing better to do. I'm not saying that the people there had nothing better. The people on our side had nothing better to do, because ours was a valiant cause with real ramifications. Whereas a lot of these social justice warriors are students, I saw a lot of Muslims there. So I saw a lot of unemployed people. So, yeah, that was one aspect of it. But I've got another bit, a bit veering off. So let's go back, because we were at the pub having a great time with a police cordon around us. I was walking to the pub, and this bouncer, yeah, he was a bouncer, marches over the street towards me whilst I'm walking down with my sign. And I had my music on, so I didn't really pay attention to him. And he pulled one out and he went, "Oh, what march are you here for?" And I went, "It's got nothing to do with you. You've got no jurisdiction here. Go away." Then he asked me another question, so I just turned the sign round and said, "Common law, no loss, no harm, no injury. Go away." And carried on to the pub. But you see, that's the sort of attitude that these places are getting, because I saw a number of pubs on the way that were closed or not letting people in because of their licenses being threatened. We saw that with the Tommy Robinson event, when he gave his books away for free. The police had actually entered the pub and told them to shut the pub and to kick everybody out, with threatening their license. Yeah. So that experience with me, I just went, you know what? There's going to be a couple of pubs on the way that are going to be good, open and friendly. You're going to be able to tell exactly which ones they are. And yeah, they were pretty obvious. They were quite heaving. You could see the good atmosphere. You could see that the people were jovial, having a good time. And it was at the end of the day, it was quite a nice event. I enjoyed myself. I had a great time. Met some lovely people. Yeah. And by the end of it, we were sat around the table having a great political debate. And there was a UKIP member. There was the deputy leader of the DVP. There was me, a For Britain member, all sat around a table discussing politics. It was great. And yes, we had differing opinions. Yes, we had different methods and different tactics, but we showed the utmost respect for each other. We showed the utmost respect for our ideologies. We debated, and it was a great debate. It was great. And taking photos. So it was the police helicopter as well that was camera mount. Yes, because they do have that technology aboard the helicopters, don't they? That can zoom in and count the change in your hand from hundreds of meters in the sky. That's a true one. That. So back to we were at the pub. We were at the Moon Underwater. They were very receptive, very, very nice to us, very good people. We were jovial, no problems, no issues. The bar staff were great. Bit busy, but they were what do you expect on a lovely sunny day, on a lovely sunny Saturday? Wasn't. I'm not sure if it was more busy than it would have normally been, but it was certainly busy, and it was a great atmosphere, friendly atmosphere. So it got towards the time to head into the Castlefield Ball, and you could see people left in dribs and drabs, which was, well, we see on this statement here that the police did not want us to march or move in mass. So us heading to the venue in dribs and drabs it wasn't a good thing. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just, it was organic. It was a natural thing. A lot of people had drinks, didn't finish the drink, so it was just naturally just went on the way to head to the venue, and it was great. Yeah. So instead of blocking off the streets and all marching in mass and causing the civil unrest, we were very respectful, very peaceful. Wombled down the street. There was loads of people handing out leaflets. Here's the leaflets. The Veterans Against Terrorism and the FLA leaflets for the march and the movement on the 2nd of... Is it the 2nd of June? Yeah, Saturday the 2nd of June in Manchester. And then there's one on... Oh, well, it was Sunday the 6th of May. That was some time ago. That's on the other side. But this side's the most important because this is the next one. This is the next one we're going to. Next one we're going to do. Great stuff. To the DFLA. Now this one was FLA, and there's been some but now water under the bridge, and we're moving on, and unity can always be formed. We stand for the common good. We stand for the common cause. We stand for the common good. Common law. Coppers gave me one of those. Yeah, one of those pieces of paper when I went in. So should we have a read of what the police demanded of us? Because it wasn't. It says, "Oh, I would like to take this opportunity." Yeah, they were forcing these out to people. Like, no, take the piece of paper. Take the piece of paper. Take the piece of paper. Yeah, to welcome you to Manchester. Yeah, it was a really warm welcome by the police, wasn't it? There were police horses. There was helicopters everywhere. It was almost like they were preparing for something bad to happen. When every single rally I've been to has been peaceful. Every single rally has been respectful. Every single time it's not been our side that's caused problems or issues. And they were focusing on us as being the criminals, or the underclass, the ones that need to be looked out for, the ones that need to be watched, the troublemakers. We're not the troublemakers. We're the respectful, peaceful patriots of this land, trying to get our point across. So, yeah, we have a big weekend ahead of us, and it is our priority that everyone who joins us enjoys themselves and is safely and peacefully. Why did you bring the two opposing sides together? Why? If you wanted everybody to be peaceful and safe, why would you do that? It's a contradiction in itself. The Greater Manchester Police believe in the right of free speech and protest, but we'll arrest you if you say anything offensive. We'll arrest you for it. If you say F or C in front of us, we'll arrest you for that. I think was it Joel Taylor that was almost arrested for it, or got an extradition ban from the city centre because he said F and C. Yeah, so that's freedom of speech, really, that, isn't it? Yeah, we protect our freedom of speech, but we'll arrest you or we'll kick you out of the city if you use a swear, if you use a bit of naughty language. Come on. And they believe in the right to protest. As long as you do it by our rules, exactly the way we want you to do it, and you don't disobey us in any way. So, However, we believe that this right comes with responsibility. Yeah, every person is responsible for their own actions. The police are not responsible for other people's actions. This is a basic constitutional right, and has been a constitutional right for hundreds of years. And they're trying to say that we've got to be responsible about it. It's utter contradictory BS. And considering this weekend will mark the anniversary of the Manchester Arena attack, no mention of terrorism, no mention of Islam, no mention of the root cause of it, no mention of the criminality behind it. No, it's just the Manchester Arena attack. And what do you do when somebody attacks your people? You defend yourselves. You get to the root cause of the problem and you defend yourselves from that problem. What did they do? First thing they did was run and protect the freaking Muslim community, didn't they? We would like to clarify that today's rally will be based solely in Castlefield Bowl area. There is no plan in place for the attendants to march to any other area in the city. Well, I believe that we were actually supposed to be marching from somewhere to somewhere in the plans for the march, in the plans for the event, but I'm not 100% sure of that. I wasn't involved in the planning of it. I just went there.
Those were the original plans.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Hey, we've got a conversation. Excellent. It's not just me by myself.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Very busy.
We've all been quite busy. Yeah, all been quite busy. And the decision has, just to finish this little letter that the police handed out. This decision has been made with representatives of the FLA. Thank you for your cooperation. Superintendent Chris Hill. The superintendent, if you've been listening a bit earlier, the superintendent that allowed the far left or the Hope Not Hate group to come down and interrupt our event. Because it must have been his decision, must have been his choice. He must have given the green light to let that side come down and interrupt us.
Very timely, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it interrupted Trevor Colt's speech, really. And it didn't really have the impact that it should have had. Especially with the minute's silence coming afterwards as well. So, in honour of that, I
was glad that we could do that minute silence up at the venue.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
And in light of this, I'm going to read Trevor Colt's speech as well. That was rudely interrupted, because a lot of people's attention was taken away from him making his speech by the interruption of Antifa. So I'm going to give that speech.
The far left.
Yeah, the far left, the Hope Not Hate group, that hate more than hope.
Stand up to racism that's actually not there.
Yeah.
What are you standing up for? What is your reasoning? The racism. What racism? There is no racism. Let's be honest. There were less ethnic minorities in their group than in our in the rest of the arena.
Well, they did have more Middle Easterners than us. Or do we use the politically correct term of Asians?
They're not Asians, they're Arabs.
No, yeah, they're Arabs. I know, it's a freaking... It's actually extremely racist to call them Asians, because you're tarring you're tarring Asians with their dirty brush.
Does an Arab look like a Chinese person or an Indonesian, or maybe somewhat Indonesian because of it? But what about Thai and Vietnamese? They don't look nothing like them.
Nothing at all. They're a totally separate, not species, but totally different race.
Race.
Yes, a completely and utterly different race. You know, you've got Mongoloid, Caucasoid, Negroid. There's others, but they're the three main.
Are they part of the Australasia, Asia,
Far East?
At all?
No.
Nothing. Nowhere near them.
That's why we had to invent the term.
Granted, a little bit closer than we are, but they're not in that part. They're not in Australasia or in Asia Strip.
No, they're in the Middle East.
Yeah.
You know,
who are called the native Arabs.
Yeah.
They came most of the Muslims in the north part of the Middle East came from Saudi Arabia and that bottom part. Going back
even the ones that moved to Pakistan came from that region. Were Arabs and came from that region.
Well, so I was listening to someone earlier, and they touched on a very good point. What's he called? What's the one beginning with A? Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Was actually Afghanistan was a Buddhist country.
Yeah, it
never
was.
Muslim.
Yeah, it was.
Then it was always Buddhist. And then look what the Muslims tried to do to the Burmese monks, and then the Burmese monks were like, "No, we're not having it. We're taking back our land. You're getting away from us, and you're never coming back." And the monks got rid of them.
Yeah, and now they're playing the victim. They're not the monks. The monks are cool, but the Rohingya Muslims are trying to play the victim card when they went and invaded. It seems like what they do quite a lot, isn't it? They go out and invade places, and then they play the victim card.
They play victim, people appease, they infiltrate. Sorry, they play the victim and people appease. Then they infiltrate. Then they take over.
Yep. And we can see it with our own eyes in our own country. It is the exact Islamic plan, and it's been used before many times. You know, is Egypt still a Christian country? Because it used to be. You know, before the Arab Spring, Syria was a Christian country. Why do you think Islamic State wanted to go there so bad? Plenty of Christians to kill. But anyways, back to the march, back to the demonstration, back to the great weekend we had, because it wasn't. The only downsides to it were some of the police incidents. I had a great time. I just ignored the police. I ignored the far lefties. I went over and had a little shout at them, but furthermore, I just ignored them and carried on regardless.
So I spoke to one police officer, and she was actually quite honest and open, and we had quite a good conversation. But that's just one out of a small group.
Yeah,
she came from up by the main entrance, and then came down, and she then approached myself and started speaking to me. So I started conversing with her whilst trying to help keep the situation in hand. And she goes, I'm just glad that you are here. Like, as in, not just me personally, but who was there was there. She goes, all I can say is thank you. So she clearly knew what that strategy was. She goes, this double barrier system has worked before, but we've also had more police on them stations. And people got past before they put up the barriers and everything like that. A couple of them got past.
There was 4 police officers in between those
That's
barriers.
What it was, yeah, I know.
Yeah, 4 police officers in between the barriers. That was it. If a call of charge was made, there would have been, the police wouldn't have had a chance at stopping anything. Not a chance at all. And it, by design, I believe. I believe that was by design.
Well, yeah, and that's the reason why everyone was relatively cool, calm, and collective. In all honesty, I was, and there was a good group of people that worked together and has worked together for a while that helped to keep the situation at hand. So,
yeah, massive respect to those guys.
Massive respect and props to all involved. Everyone knows who they are. But yeah, massive thank you to everyone. And
yeah, big shout out to them. We'll plug them as well. We'll plug them as well. Have a look at the reality report, guys. Great page, great information on there. Great guys.
Get on that reality report.
Yeah,
great people.
Yeah.
And get involved. Get involved in the media and get involved in it all. You start to unravel and start to understand more what's happening, even on a smaller scale, even just the normal people, even just the normal people that are speaking out. Can you imagine what it's like for big people that are speaking out about things? Goes every way.
Yeah, it does. It does, because what we're seeing now is they're using our opinions against us. They're using our pride and our love and our patriotism for our country against us to try to threaten us with losing your job or losing friends and things like that. We're trying to but
small sacrifices go a long way, though. It doesn't help. It's not. I'm not saying don't worry about your job, blah blah blah, because there are things that we still need to do. Like, many of us, like I would say 99% of us, go to work every single day and come home and then organise everything and get all this stuff done, what we're doing. This isn't like we're not paid for by the likes of George Soros to be able to go and get a media department and then go and get an IT department and an office space with a few people working together with a PR team and having all of this and that. None of us have got any of that. That's not what we're about. We don't need any of that, in all honesty. Would it help? Obviously, it would help.
It'd help.
Get the message out a bit further. But do you know what? Our hearts speak louder than anything, and
our actions.
What people and our actions. Yeah, look, no one can say that we're violent. That these marches are violent, or these rallies are violent, or these speeches are violent. There's nothing of the sort in there. And to say otherwise would be preposterous. It's the narrative of the media that are driving this violent, thuggish marches and rallies, and then wonderful counter protests who had all these lovely banners, anti-fascists and hope not hate, and all of this. Really? No. I don't know. If anyone listened to Tracy Blackwell's speech again this week, think you've realised that we are just normal people that believe in justice.
Justice. That was the key word there. Justice, because we're seeing our legal system completely and utterly corrupt, not giving out true justice. We're seeing the laws of this land, common law, be totally thrown out of the window. And it's our freedom that's getting thrown away with the bathwater. So, were you there when with Vinny when he was approached by, or was interviewed? I think he might have even been interviewed by the British Bullshit Corporation.
The British Brainwashing Corporation.
Yeah.
Yes, I was there. I had a very good look over the contract as well, which had literally no reference to the BBC in any way. So for them to use it in a BBC documentary would have been illegal. So would it? But it would have been hard to go through all of this and that because we wouldn't have had copies, and that's another problem. But they're easy to spot and easy to work out.
Yeah, it was.
And even if the interview was used, they'll cut and edit it in such a way that it manipulates what the statement or speech or discussion, Q&A, whatever you want to call it, was all about.
Yep. It was.
And that's how they work.
It was a honey trap. There's a few.
Most definitely, they send them out all the time. And then they claim that they're individual media with their £15,000 worth of kit sitting around their neck and their waist.
Yeah.
It's like that. No normal person in this world, right, who isn't rich has 15 grand's worth of kit that they're willing to just, like, get damaged.
Not a chance.
Normal people, like Red Pill Phil, great man, great at what he does. I love what he does. He wouldn't cost 15 grand and he produces perfectly good videos and that.
Yeah.
These people do it for a reason because they've got such good high resolution and audio equipment that they can literally pick out every single little thing.
Yep. Yeah. And
smarmy assholes.
Yeah. And they have all the high quality video editing software back at base.
Yeah, they've got 4K cameras. You look at their cameras, they're all 4K.
Not a chance. Well, my phone can record in 4K, but not a chance. Nowhere near the quality that they can.
Not a DSLR.
No. But, you can see Red Pill Phil has slightly evolved because he's doing more work, because he's had experience in things. He's got this little fluffy microphone attached to it. His camera phone. His camera phone. It's not a super duper thing. Not a DSLR frigging singing dancing thing. But he's also got a stick. And a stick.
It's got a phone and a mic attachment.
Yeah. A phone, a stick, and a mic attachment, and that's it. And I was like, that's genuine.
Brilliant.
That's genuine. You can tell that's proper genuine roots of journalism. That proper roots of journalism.
It wouldn't even matter if it had like a £200 or £300 camera and a microphone. Do you know what I mean? But these people have serious equipment. I even look at like what you look at the Muslims that go to Speaker's Corner and you look at their equipment.
Yeah,
it's not half cop stuff. This is decent equipment they're investing in. They've got like these wireless pad mics and all of this.
You can see they've been given a blank check. Oh. They've been given a blank check by someone to go out and buy video equipment.
Qatar and Iran. It's our money.
Yeah. All the money that we give them in foreign aid, they send it back to us to fund the spread of Islam. The spread of Islam. Yeah. But yeah. So they tried to get you to sign this chuffing contract to sign away your rights to your image,
your soul,
yeah,
your soul,
the rights to your image and the rights to defame your character, so you don't have any of it. You can't take them to court over them manipulating the footage to make you look bad. That's what that contract's all about, isn't it? We can use your image, we can use everything you say, but you've got no leg to stand on if we manipulate it and use it against you. Which is,
well, in all honesty, like Vinny said earlier, they could use it anyway. It's in a public space.
Yeah, true. But hopefully they don't.
But anyway.
anyways.
They're just scum. Just, if they come near you, tell them to go away.
Yeah. I think
I had what genocide or cultural Marxism.
I had a couple of photo opportunities with me signs, but didn't say anything to anyone.
You made it in the Manchester Evening Standard with it, I think.
Did I? Woohoo! Awesome.
So did I.
Awesome.
On the front page.
I need to get that somehow. How the fuck can I get that? Right, if anyone can get a copy of that, send it over.
I've got a copy. I'll send it over to you.
Awesome sauce.
Not really much. It's not really. The article's more about Hope Not Hate and racism being that and what they were doing, and then what us.
Well, if it's got me and my sign saying the Constitution is the solution, that's all I wanted. I wanted a bit of exposure on that sign, or the common law sign, because they're the things we really need to push for: our Constitution and our common law. And it was a great day, enjoyed by all. That was, and crap, I stayed pretty late in that hotel bar, in the hotel pub thing next door, discussing loads with the deputy leader of the DVP, Trevor, and what was her name? Katie Paris from UKIP. And a couple of the other people there as well.
Yeah.
Great minds. Yeah, we had a great discussion.
You would have left just after I got back then.
You came back? Because I was just about to go over to talk to Vinny, shake his hand and that. And I was interrupted. He started talking to someone else, and I turned around and walked back. Turned around, he was gone. I was like, oh, okay, they've all gone. Yeah, but did you go over to Piccadilly Gardens to speak to some of the... Because I saw some videos. I saw some videos.
I'm going to tell you a nice little interesting story about someone who said he was a Royal Marine. I was talking to him, and he was like, I was saying, like, what I believe that what we need to do, and how I think it would benefit us. About like increasing our army, having tech colleges and grammar schools, and how they operate, and what we do, and and he goes, oh, why do you think we need a bigger army? I was like, because unfortunately, at this current climate of this world, there are a few crazy people out there that are quite willing to attack a country. I was like, and we need people to defend our nation. I was like, a military does not mean to go out and attack everyone and take over. It means to defend your nation.
To defend your nation, and also to deter others from coming and attacking your nation. If you've got a strong army, strong armed forces, and so nobody's going to come attack you.
Exactly. So I was explaining to him, and he's like, no. I was like, ideally, your situation with no one having weapons throughout the whole world would be brilliant. But guess what? It's not reality. No. Stop trying to live in an ideal world. And if you want to live in that world, then henceforth and try and make change, but do it in the right way. And he was like, no. He weren't having none of it. He's a proper Marxist, right? Pure out communist.
Whoa.
And then his girlfriend, on the other hand, was sitting there looking at me going, actually, mate,
right.
you've got a point there. You've got a bloody point. And you could see this girl. She was looking at her fella like, I don't know what to do. Like, what are you saying? I don't know what to do.
And he was supposedly an ex-Royal Marine, or a still serving Royal Marine, and is this Marxist communist thing?
Apparently an ex-Royal Marine, but I didn't believe it at all.
Did he look old enough, like he's served time, like he's served more than what was?
No, he only looked about 23, so he could have done it. That's not saying that he couldn't, but he only looked maximum 25.
Well, isn't it illegal to claim that you were part of the armed forces when you weren't? I know in America.
No.
I know in America that if you wear there's people in America that wear the armored uniform.
No. It's the impersonation of.
Yeah. So if he was in some form of uniform doing that, then it would have been illegal. Yeah, true.
The same as impersonating a police officer and things like that.
Yeah. Well.
Fancy dress doesn't count, okay, people.
No. If it's a genuine looking sort of police uniform, or
it has to be a genuine, like basically either a complete replica or a genuine uniform of either.
Yeah. You know, from what I saw, a lot of the police were smiling and happy and nodded at my signs, and were really. They looked like they were stood there looking like, well, there's no need for us to be here. They looked a little bit dissolute. Some of them did, and some of them looked like they supported us. But I said the others were looking at us in disgust, looking down upon us. And yeah, you could see it in their eyes. They're I don't know how to put it, but the disdain for us. They thought we were far right Nazis, which an officer of the law should remain completely and utterly neutral in every circumstance. They're there to uphold the law and not be judge, jury, and executioner, which we saw happen to, I think, who was it? Was it Joel Taylor that got booted out of the city centre?
Joel got arrested. Joel got arrested for not giving his details. Both Redville and John. What's his name? Forgot John's last name. Lawrence. Both got asked. Was given an order to leave the city. There was someone else that was arrested. Again, that can't be discussed because of what's going to be coming of that. But anyway, a lot of the police were quite okayish, like he said. One officer another officer when we was going to a place. I was drinking a beer on the street, and there was a no drinking order for the whole day, which I can respect, like no drinking alcohol on the streets. Officer came up to me, and I only had a little bit left anyway. And he goes, "How did you sneak around with that?" I was like, "I don't sneak around anywhere." I was like, "I was just drinking it." I was like, "You clearly don't have your eyes open." I was like, "Well, you do, others don't." And he goes, "I've got to take it off you." I was like, "Come on, man, I've got a little bit left." And he goes, "The superiors are about." I was like, "Listen," I was like, "It's okay. I'm your employer."
I'm your employer. Yeah, it's well said.
It's okay. It's completely fine. I'm not going to do any harm. As your employer, you can trust me. Okay? I give you my word. And he goes, "Well, as one of my employers then," he goes, "Can I have a pay rise?" I was like, "Once I've taken control, mate, you can have a pay rise, you can have more subsidies, and guess what? Your job won't be as hard." And he goes, "I like the sound of that."
Hey, we've got a copper on our side, man. All hey.
There are some out there.
Oh, of course there is.
We've got to be realistic.
Well,
There are definitely some good ones out there. I've met a few of them. And again, one of the sergeants that came to Piccadilly Gardens when we was there, we was having a couple of tinnies and having a smoke and having a laugh. And they came up and said, what the sergeant came up to me, because I was one of the closest people, and said, listen, can I have a words? And he goes, listen, there is a no drinking ban. But he goes, I'm not going to tell you to pour them all away. He goes, because you're not causing a nuisance. He goes, but please don't crack another one. Is that all right? He goes, can you give that message out? I was like, do you know what, Sergeant? I was like, not a problem.
Respect.
Thank you ever so much. And he walked off and went off and told everyone exactly the same. Don't have another one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I was like, do you know what? I have my respect for him for doing that. He could have quite easily just gone round and tipped everyone's drink out, or he couldn't have, because they were more there towards us and another group. But yeah.
Yeah, things might have got a lot worse for him a lot quickly if he went around trying to pour them all out. But it wouldn't have been our side that was But hey.
Well, yeah, it was. If they would have poured out anyone's drinks, it would have been ours, really. Because there was a lot of normal people there, like not left, what you would really call left. Do you know, people who just don't care about anything, to just get on with their life. There was a few people then there, but a lot of commies, more commies than normals. But even the normals were drinking. So, and if they didn't take their alcohol off them, or the commies' alcohol off them, but took ours, it would have been one-sided. So the way he dealt with the situation, it was the best way he handled it. And you've got to take your hat off to him for doing so.
Yeah. Seems he might not have succumbed to the neuro-linguistic programming that Common Purpose has put in place.
Or just taking a real hard look, and even if he did, he took a real hard look and go, do you know what? This bloke's all right. They're actually just chatting to these people. And that's what we were. We were talking to these commies, these young ones. Some of these were like fresh out of school, mate. Like, I even thought maybe still at school, but yeah. And I was just like, wow. And they were so brainwashed, and was explaining stuff to them. They could see some of our points, but they were just still going on the same racism and stuff. But we started planting seeds. So, you know,
those seeds of doubt will flourish.
These young ones, when they're left alone from their leaders, you've got to touch these young ones to deflect them away, because I don't want them to get hurt. Not even that we're going to hurt them. It's just that it could happen. And I don't want a 16-year-old being hurt in a situation that could have been clearly avoided.
Wait. No, the thing is, think of the future for these kids. If communism and Marxism actually comes to fruition and comes to power in this country, millions are going to die again. It's what happens with freaking communism.
It's not just that. It's the education of these of the younger generation. We're trying to plant seeds to re-educate them because of the education that they've already had. And these people are going to lead the world. So these people will be the communist leaders. And we want to stop that. And what's the way to do it? Go and speak to these little kids, man. Go and talk some sense into them. That's literally, I think it's a really good, hard way to do it, is literally go and speak to them when they're away from their leaders and just explain things, explain who we are and what we do, and make them realise we're not racist or anything like that.
Yeah, give them the other side of the coin.
We just believe in what's good for not our own nation, but for everyone's nation.
Yeah, for the people. And that's all the people. Every single one of them. Yeah. And like you said, they would have been only getting one side of the argument. They would have only been getting one side of things from their teachers, from their leaders, from whoever was controlling them. They would only be getting one side of the argument. Whereas if you go over and you start planting seeds from the other side, then they might get a lot more centralized. Yeah. I wish I would have come up there with you. I didn't know where you were gone to. I was like, but I had a good time by myself. I found out some great information and things. Spot some great people. Yeah.
So, there are some great people out there, mate.
That's it.
Some great minds. some of those great minds even agree with a lot of that. A lot that I would say, and a lot that others say. It's just getting all these people together in one group to go into all of this.
Yeah. All of us individuals need to get together in a group. All of us individuals, that pride ourselves in our individuality. It's brilliant, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, them Manchester lads are decent blokes.
Yeah,
just won't get on the wrong side of them.
Well,
but to be fair, I wouldn't get on the wrong side of any Englishman, Scotsman, or Welshman, or Irishman at their peak of flipping. At the point that we're nearly at as a nation, we're nearly at the point of flipping because we've had enough.
Yeah, definitely. There's not many straws left that we can handle. There will be a final straw, and it seems to be creeping closer and closer.
Many straws left, mate. Yeah. I honestly don't. I think they're pulling to the last one.
Yeah, and I think we'd have actually got quite a lot more people involved if it wasn't Cup Final Day or Royal Wedding Day. But I don't think a lot of people were actually interested in the Royal Wedding at all, really. But Cup Final, on the way back, I was walking past a few of the pubs and they were ram-packed full of Cup Final fans, even though United. Yeah. But that was What else was there? What else happened? Because you went for Piccadilly.
A very loud Manchester run. That's what happened as well. A very loud one at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, because you had to come up from down south, mate. When I walked into the pub and I saw you, I went. I didn't believe I saw you. You know what I'm saying? I looked, I went.
How did you
get it? How did you get here? What's going on? Yeah.
Things happen, mate.
That's it. So, yeah. So did you get the train up, or did you stay overnight, or what happened?
I got my helicopter in the end.
Sweet. Abramovich style.
Yeah, well, sometimes it is the people you know and not what you know. I'm joking. I didn't really get a helicopter.
Well, the thing,
nice if it did.
The great thing is,
actually, speaking out what I speak about and having a helicopter ride by myself, I'd feel a bit dubious because I know what can happen with planes and helicopters just suddenly high.
Yeah. It just suddenly stopped working, sorry. Yeah. And like you said, the great thing...
The pilot will end up turning into some sort of Agent Smith out of the Matrix. Oh, great, here we go.
Here we go, yeah. Prepare for a crash landing, duck and cover. to protect your teeth, to protect your dental records. So you can identify.
Right underneath that, put your hand right underneath that seat, grab the parachute, clip it on, open the door and jump out. That's what I'd have done. I'd have been still clipping it out, falling out, doing a free fall.
Me, I probably wouldn't unhook it properly.
It would just literally be on my shoulders as I'm falling out backwards.
Still putting it on.
Ready. Yeah. Counting to 30 and then pulling my string and going, see ya.
I don't think I'd be counting to 30, mate. Not a chance. I'd be like, 1, 2, 30.
No, you don't want to pull it when you're too high up. You've got to wait until you're relatively close. Otherwise, you'll just be dragged and you'll be gone. So you have to wait until you get to a certain depth, a certain height, and then you pull it and then you can just glide down and you free fall for like, I think it's like 5 to 10 seconds from when you pull the cord.
Yeah, because you get the mini parachute, the little
you get the small chute.
Pilot chute.
Small chute comes out for 5 seconds, and that to drag some air, and then the big one comes out, and then that's when you get pulled up and sucked up, and then you come down, and you have your hands on handles and guide yourself down, unless if it's a really expensive one, and you can put your arms onto the sides of them and push them.
Mm-hmm. Well, just a little bit. Just a little thing that you said earlier. It's not what you know. It's who you know. Well, the thing is, who you know also affects what you know.
Of course, it does. They come hand in hand.
Yeah, because you learn a lot from other people. A lot of other people have a lot of other opinions and a lot of other experiences in life, which can enhance what you know and enhance what you understand. And your opinion on things.
Someone was like, "You have a wealth of knowledge of a vast amount of things. Why are you not already out there on the stage?" I was like, I just started to put myself out there. I've only just started to.
Yeah.
I woke up like a little while ago. Give me a chance.
yeah. That's it. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get up on that stage. It takes a lot to get up on that stage. It does.
No, it's not. For me, getting up on the stage isn't a problem, or speaking isn't a problem. If I'm going to go up and do a speech like that, I'm going to do a proper speech, and I haven't been asked until now. Or I have been asked, but it's never been organised until now for me to do so.
So what's there to do now? Have you got a
speech?
Have you got a speech lined up?
I've got ideas to put in a speech, but yes, I'll be writing one ready.
Yeah, excellent. Because
possibly at the next event as well.
Are you gonna come back up to Manchester again?
I travel the whole country all the time. Take regular visits to London too. I have to go to vital areas and go into Manchester and go into London and soon be Cardiff, more Cardiff than Swansea, and go into other places. You've got to do these things. You've got to start getting the message out to people. So if you don't, the message will be lost.
Yep, and it means a lot to a lot of people just being there.
But do you know what I really think people really need to know now? Like, do you know my explanation of the force gravity? And a more another way of explaining the theory of relativity in a more modern way, in a more modern knowledge way. A lot of people have actually agreed with it.
Let's see if you can test my scientific mind.
So the theory of relativity is explaining the force that is produced when an object is in midair and goes towards the ground. That force, okay? That's what the theory of relativity is, and they call that force gravity, okay? Something that's pulling that into the earth. That's what they say, okay? That's what the theory of relativity is. And using many great minds, have managed to come up with another theory, because that's all it is, okay? This isn't factual. It's just very theoretical on what I've learned and what I know and what I understand of quantum mechanics.
You've not done the practical.
Is that... Sorry?
You've not done the practical side of the experiment. So it is still only theoretical.
Well, as such, haven't written out even the scientific equations behind this either.
Because
I need a lot more training in regards to. I've read a lot of papers in regards to quantum mechanics, in regards to. I would imagine a lot of people would have read a lot of, if not all of Einstein's work, because we use it enough all the time anyway. It's just having a comprehension of it, and even Tesla's work, and having a comprehension of Tesla's, and understanding how Plato and Alexander the Great and Aristotle's even thought of the world. All these great minds, if you put what they have said and how they have said it. So what I believe, that force of gravity is a magnetism force. So matter is actually, so if you think of the universe as Tesla says, as vibrations and frequencies, right? Then nothing is solid. Everything is hollow. Even the atoms, okay? Every atom is hollow. It has to be, because it has to mold into so many different shapes, okay? So every atom and every part of matter is completely empty. It's nothing is solid. It's completely fluid, okay? So on that basis, there's got to be more negative or positive charges to a matter than the Earth. Hence, or thus bringing the object towards the Earth, being the magnetic force, the positive to the negative, north to south pole. However you want to explain it, it's an electronical or charge that happens, and it pulls it to the ground. That's my explanation of what gravity is. So I explain gravity, the force gravity, as the force exerted when the magnetism of those forces become one. Because if you dropped an object like a penny from the edge of space, as they say, the first part would take ages, so long, because there's not that central magnetism up there. But as it gets closer, it gets drawn in and it pulls it down because it's drawn to the magnetic force.
Well, yeah, we discussed this. I think we might discuss this on last week's show, but
yeah, we did. Yeah,
I don't see.
Sorry,
I don't see magnetism being involved with it. I don't see magnetism and gravity being the same.
Why? And what's your explanation for it? Because gravity is just an explanation of an unknown force. That's all gravity is. That's the theory of relativity, is just explaining a force that is exerted when an object's in midair going towards the ground. The force exerted is gravity.
Yes.
So on that basis, if you put a metal object near a magnet, okay, and you pull it far away from it, right, that magnetic force is going to take so long to get to it, to draw it in, right? Now I know going from
if you change the word magnetic to attractive, then I'd agree with it a bit more. Matter has an attractive force, not a magnetic.
Yeah, of course. Well, because if you look, it has to have a magnetic property to be in our magnetic field, because we live in a magnetic field. Okay, we have a north and south pole that exert energy as and that's what Tesla understood and was able to harness. Okay, so matter in itself is an electrical charge, right? Or has the properties of an electrical charge.
Matter has electrons.
Sorry?
Matter has electrons and an electron cloud.
Yes.
That's where a lot of electricity and electrical effect comes from.
So you would need some sort of property to make that be able to, them electrons be able to go at the speed they do. Yeah? What would draw them in together? Because if you put these things in space where there is no magnetic field, okay, then these things wouldn't exist. They would just go. They'd be gone. There'd be nothing of them.
No, matter would still be there. Matter would still attract, even in the depth of space.
But no, not in space it wouldn't, because there is no this known force of gravity in space.
Yeah, this
known force of gravity does not exist outside of our field.
Does the moon have a magnetic field?
No.
Well, how can its gravity affect our oceans?
It's the position of the moon that affects our oceans.
Yes, it's gravitational pull.
And the position.
It's gravity.
The position of Earth. Yeah, the gravitational pull comes from us.
No, it also is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if the Earth has a gravitational pull on the moon also has a gravitational pull on the Earth.
But it doesn't have gravity on the moon, because otherwise we could just walk on it normally.
Yeah, you do.
There is no force of gravity. You can't, because they're floating midair, because there is no force.
It is the exertion of gravity on the moon is 6 times less than what it is on the Earth, because it has 6 times less the mass.
So, okay, so if it has one, it does not have the ability to have the force that we do on. So I'm talking about our magnetic force, okay? Because if you dropped an object in space, it would just float.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no gravitational pull between that said object and said other planets as we know it.
Well,
okay?
Yeah. Well, no. Yes, there would. Yes, there would, because there would still be.
If you dropped a penny, right, 100 foot from the Earth and 100 foot from the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you think would happen?
They would fall at different rates because of air pressure.
Would the penny fall though?
On the moon, yeah.
Or would it just,
or
would it just float? Or would it just float like all of the other trash of all satellites that are just floating in space, literally floating in space? No control of them, they're just floating. Because they've gone outside of that field.
Yeah.
So there's no gravitational pull towards it.
Well, yes, there still is, because they still have orbit. It's just the gravitational pull isn't strong enough to pull them directly down to the Earth. It's only strong enough to pull them around it. It still has an effect.
But that's not gravity doing that.
Yeah, it is. They're not propelled. They're not self-propelled.
That's it. Well, it would. Of course, it's propelled, because we're spinning at an alarming rate. Just thinking up around these things. Look at the Van Allen belt. Like, when I say space is outside of our atmosphere. There's still the ionosphere and troposphere where these things are lying, but there's no gravitational pull there.
There is. Or else they would have carried on flying away.
If there was, then why aren't they coming hurtling towards the ground, towards Earth?
Because
if there was a gravitational pull there, right, to be able to pull them in, right, then they would hurtle in at the ground at an alarming rate, and we would all be going for cover. Okay, the amount of disused and derelict satellites and all of this other crap that they've put up there is all just orbiting around like a one big trash can of a belt. This is another reason why they find it, they're not able to get to another planet. Not that they just lost the telemetry. That's another whole different story. The fact that they've got so much trash, they've even admitted this. So if the gravitational pull was there, they would come hurtling to the ground, but there isn't.
It's
not enough to bring this matter down. Not even in small chunks. That's there where they've tried to blow parts up.
You see, gravity emanates from our center core. Okay, so the further away you get from that, the less effect gravity has. Once you get outside,
if you look at a magnetic field,
once you get into orbit, once you get into orbit, it equalizes.
I think we have different understandings of theory of relativity and understanding of Tesla's work. And plus, I also get my theory from other people as well. It's just that I'm trying to explain a force explained by someone else that no one knows what this force is, and I'm trying to explain it in a way of many great minds. I don't know. A lot of people, I don't know, because there's a magnetic force or field will only go so far.
Yeah.
And that's why I say this for, so gravity will only go so far.
Yeah.
Okay, because once you go into the space, there is no gravity because things just float.
There's still gravity.
Gravity is that force that pull is exerted when something goes to the ground. That's what gravity is. Or in a Formula One car.
What keeps us in orbit around the sun? What keeps us in orbit around the sun? Is it that not the sun's gravity? Is that not the sun's gravitational field?
Which it would have a higher magnetic field than what we have, yes.
What, you're saying that hydrogen and helium has magnetic properties? From what I understand, and the way that Einstein spoke about it, was the theory of space-time. The theory of space-time. Matter has the gravitational force. Matter has warped space-time. So you've got like the ball in the sheet. That sort of theory. So the gravity of the sun is put in a depression in space-time, and everything then revolves around it. That was the theory I was taught. Still there, dude. Oh. Sorry, dude, it kicked me out.
I don't know.
Sorry, dude, it kicked me out. So you wouldn't have been able to hear what I just said. When did it kick me out?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we were just talking to ourselves for a moment then.
Yeah, we may just have different understandings of theory of relativity and Tesla's work and that.
Yeah. But healthy debate's healthy debate.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You know, at Manchester, you know, there was me, a member of For Britain, Katie, the NEC of the UKIP, and the deputy leader of the DVP. All different parties, all sort of different, all got differences, but we sat around, we debated, and found a lot of common ground. Basically, we found a lot of common ground. Some of us found a bit more in common than others.
Don't forget, a lot of these people worked together a long time ago as well.
Yeah. So, anyways,
and very great people there as well.
Mm.
Trevor and Gavin, I always like speaking with them. JRE, only if JRE was there, that would be nice. It was a good day. And do you know what? Most of the events are more a lot about connecting with people.
Well, that's it. That's what we keep talking about. It's great to get to know these people, get to connect to people, and get to see other people that share your opinions, and see that we do have strength in numbers, and there's no need to feel alone or even ashamed of how you think and feel, because that's what they've been trying to do.
Mm.
That's what the left and that's what the government narrative and media have been trying to do, trying to make us feel ashamed of what we think, what we feel, and who we are. It's disgusting.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Dirty trick.
I think that's a good segue. Segue, it's 9:30.
Is it? Hour and a half? Yeah, hour and a half, sure. Right. Well, I'm going to leave with the speech. This speech was interrupted by the left, or the Hope Not Hate group.
Just the left. The degenerates of society. The degenerates. Ones we're trying to regain back.
So this speech was to be made, and I think it was made in some parts by Trevor Colt, MC. Because of the left being allowed to interrupt, I think it lost its purpose. I think it lost its oomph behind it. It lost its attention. And it's a good speech. It's only quick, it's very short. But yeah, I believe it deserves to be said. So here goes.
Go forth.
So this is from Trevor Colt MC. Read by me, Dave Wolf. So, thank you to the FLA for asking me to speak today on such a humbling occasion. At first, I sat back in my chair at home and I thought, what words of encouragement could I possibly give to comfort these families who've been directly affected by these events? Families torn apart forever. Well, I stand here today not only as a veteran, but as a person who's part of the same community as you. I spent my whole life trying to avoid attacks that we all witnessed this time last year in the Manchester Arena. Having been raised in Belfast, I am no stranger to terrorist attacks on innocent people. It is only when we are dealt a massive blow that we seem to come together and reach out for peace. Well, enough is enough, Manchester. It's time to deal. It's time we dealt with this problem at its root cause. We all need to come together and remove our current politicians from a position of trust and power. Until we get rid of their political correctness and appeasement to external international matters, we will never put our own communities and interests before that of others. This will continue to happen right across our towns and cities. I've already taken a stand. The veterans of this country are now fighting back. We will not let this continue in our country. That we have lost friends and trying to protect, but we cannot do this on our own. We all need to stand together. We need all of you to stand with us. We need to enforce direct democracy onto our ministers and make them work for us instead of us working for them. Terrorism in any form should not be tolerated. Kind regards, Trevor Colt. A short, sharp, powerful speech that was to the point. Exactly. And on that note, should we have 1 minute silence? That was so rudely interrupted. I think we should.
Should do another one for sure.
Yeah. So everybody, please press silence for 1 minute whilst we remember those who tragically lost their lives to terrorism.
The fallen heroes.
The fallen heroes to Islamic terrorism. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a great show. And there are many more to come. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Good night. God bless. Godspeed.
Like that.